One. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Travel Through the 80s with the 80s kids. Welcome back to another fun spotlight episode that we're doing again. I am your host, Kyle Litz, and with me as always is Don Brown.
Here I am. Yeah, excited
Awesome.
I'm very excited about this.
Yes,
this episode, for sure.
Oh yes, this is very exciting because we have a very, very special guest today, someone who I'm sure everybody out in our audience is familiar with. We have with us today Miss Claudia Wells, the original Jennifer Parker from Back to the Future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Hello, hello, hello.
So you're actually I know we're having sort of a special event of episodes, and you're going to be attending the Bedford Film Festival coming up very soon, which is why we're inviting you on to discuss that a little bit. How did you get involved with that event?
Well, actually, they invited me last year, but I wasn't able to make it. So Laura got in touch with me again, and I was sold on Bedford Falls. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life is
Yes.
one of my very favorite all-time greats in terms of
That's
film.
the first thing I thought of.
Oh
That's
my
the
gosh,
first thing
there's
I
no
thought
way
when
I
I heard
could
of
say
it.
no. And then the more I found out about it, the more impressive and affecting the community at large it is. I don't know if you realize, but they are raising money to do a community center specifically to train filmmakers.
That's
And
fantastic.
I love that. I love that. So it's a charitable event. And also what they do for films, the winning films, they put them together with distribution companies, which is like the hardest thing ever
Absolutely.
for a filmmaker to get. That is like the secret je ne sais quoi. And they've already got a winning film this year that's with Murphy Films. I think it's called
excellent.
Murphy. Yeah, I want to double check that I got that name right. I made some notes.
Excellent. And prepared guests.
Thank you so much.
Excited.
Yeah, Murphy Media. It's already
cool.
bought one of the films. And then one thing that's really, really cool, on Saturday night, July 1st, they're having a screening, a double feature of Back to the Future and Jaws.
Yeah.
And Mr. Gottlieb is going to be there.
Yes,
and he actually wrote Jaws. So I have a little thing I want to discuss with him, because we used to go to Stinson Beach every summer, and my mother saw Jaws. And thank you, Mr. Gottlieb, but I was never allowed to go in the ocean past my knees again. Literally.
Yeah, now you can really let him have it now.
He and I have a little conversation coming. But one thing that's really, really cool for people, both for the for Back to the Future and for Jaws, is because they came out in the 80s, a lot of people have never seen them in a big theater.
Right.
And that's a really
right.
special experience. There's a difference, even if you have a big screen TV, there's a huge difference between surround sound and seeing it in a theater.
And with an audience too.
Yes, you get to share it with everybody. And so that's going to be something really super. And on July 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., both of us will be signing autographs and doing photo ops for people, which is really, it's such a beautiful experience. There's such I just got back from doing a Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, California. And on Friday, I go to Michigan to St. Clair Shores for to be a guest at a parade and do a meet and greet. And the experience of being with fans of the film or the 80s is such a lovely, beautiful, it's a synchronistic, it's like there's a bond and a family and a joy and a shared love and kindness that is such a special experience. So I'm really excited to be able to have an opportunity to be a part of that.
Oh yeah, and you definitely hit it on the head. I mean, you think about all these movies, you know, that we watched back in those days and how they've really connected with an audience and still to this day have that lasting impact, even with their, you know, when we share it with our children and how they still fall in love with it. I've showed it to my 7-year-old. He loved Back to the Future. And,
it's completely generational. It's so generational.
Yes.
And there's something about Back to the Future fans. They're so wise and smart and kind and generous and loyal. It's literally a worldwide family of commonality.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a men's clothing store for 30 years and 5 months and 4 days. in studios, but who's counting, right?
Yep.
In Studio City, and I love my store, and it's really an extraordinary experience. So I don't have to travel and do these things. I choose to because I really love the bond. And there's something, no matter what's going on in the world, to have moments of pure joy and kindness with everybody and have everybody have that same experience is just priceless. You can't bottle that up and have a sip. It's just something you have to experience. And whether it's online on, social media sites or in person, which of course is always preferable.
Sure.
It's really, it's just so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Well,
And I mean, oh, go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I want to say thank you, because I mean, Kyle and I, we've met some people, and they're always like, it's always got to be very careful, because you get in your head of who the people are on screen, and then in real life you meet them and you don't want to be disappointed. But we've met,
Right.
we've met a few folks that were a little, distant, and it didn't really embrace their fans.
Sorry, my TV just turned on all by itself. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I'll bet it.
Is it a good
Yeah,
show?
you know what? It's true.
Yeah.
So it's just a different, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and it's just when you have that bond and the same passion and the same love, and just when you get to meet someone. And I mean, so basically, thank you so much for being on with us tonight to chat, because this is a great experience that we never thought that we would have, being able to
Sure.
connect with you, ask you questions, learn a little bit more about, something that meant so much in our childhood and still in our adulthood that we cherish, and having these moments to be able to have that conversation. I mean, it's just something that's going to be a wonderful memory that we're going to carry on
Absolutely.
for many, many years. So we
That's really
love the
kind of
fact
you.
that
Thank you.
meeting folks that do have that same passion of the 80s, but just life in general and people and connecting is just really incredible. So we thank you.
Thank you. It's a joie de vivre. It's just, we gotta find the joy in our lives and in our days where we can, and just focus on that.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, Goldie, I call him Goldie. He's one of my very best friends. He played Mayor Goldie Wilson. And
Yes.
both of us are constantly saying, we won the golden ticket. I mean, we get to travel and meet people. And, when people say, what was your favorite part of doing the movie and filming the movie? My answer unanimously is these experiences.
Yeah.
We've got instant friends everywhere. And it's just this kindness. It's lovely.
And you couldn't have planned that back then, of like, filming,
Right.
being there in 1985, like knowing that, like, okay, we're going to do this. This is a, job, a paycheck. And then, a couple of years, the movie will be over and people might forget about it. And here we are so many years later, and just embracing
38
it.
years later.
38 years. That can't be right, because that means that
Insane.
Right.
I'm 56 and 7/8.
okay.
You don't look it.
I'm 25 the second time around. So yep, I'm doing it twice. So
Yep.
yeah.
But it's funny because fans of any of these types of things, whether it's Back to the Future, Star Wars, Goonies, whatever, they're so hungry for more. And it's not even more stories. It's just more of just an experience with people involved with it, whether it's people that were in the film, whether it's people that love the film as much as they do. It's this community, like you say, of just so much love and adoration of these stories that just still transcend.
Well,
so
when we
beautiful.
were kids, we never got the chance to meet, Olivia Hussey or these people that we look up to so much in movies. I mean, I did because I went to dinner parties and I was in that world, but as a, walking down the street, you don't get that opportunity. And now it's just amazing how you do get it. And so it's a really cool thing. It's just it's funny. I screen tested for Goonies.
Oh, really?
It
Cool.
was between me and the girl who got it. Same with Gremlins. Adventures in
Gremlins.
Babysitting was
Oh, my
between
goodness.
me and Elizabeth Shue and Phoebe Cates and Valerie Bertinelli.
Oh.
Yeah, right. She got my first wife. And I was actually a professional babysitter since I was 7. So I don't
that should have given
understand
you
that
like
one.
clout right there.
I am
But
I am picturing with those roles. I mean, now I want to see that movie with you with you in
Yeah.
them.
Oh man, all of them. And the Labyrinth was between me and Jennifer Connelly.
Oh my
And
God,
there's
another wonderful.
like basically name an 80s. Sorry, I keep doing this. I'm kind of warm in here.
Oh, you're
But
good.
name an 80s movie, and basically I probably screen tested for it. So that's why I say I really think God blessed me with the golden ticket, because out of every single movie, I got the one that brings the most
Yeah.
life to my current days.
It's funny too. We did an episode about Back to the Future a couple years ago, and we talked about it, and we usually talk about like the top movies of the week, and we talked about the week it came out, and it wasn't. It was like number 3, but the momentum of built so quickly after that it just it blew up, and that doesn't happen as much anymore as you see in the box office. It's not a hit right away. It's not a hit, but back then it could take word of mouth and things like that helped build that audience and create the box office hit that it was. And it lasted through the year. I mean, just like
it was playing
October, November.
Yeah, no, it was at the Avco in Westwood for 9.5 months, which was
amazing,
unheard of. That's how long it was there, every single day. And it's I mean, I have fans who are like 4 years old or their grandparents.
Right. It's amazing how it's
incredible.
But it's that kind of movie. It really is. It's you don't have to be a certain type of person to enjoy it. Everybody can enjoy it. And that's what's great
Everybody.
About it.
It's made for, and it's kid friendly. I always say, go to my social media sites. You can send your kids, because I'm rated G everywhere. And so is Back to the Future. It's just other than the whole mother-son thing.
So let's talk about you. How did you get started? What was it that brought you into the acting world?
Oh, well, I knew when I was 2 years old, I was going to be an actress, and I knew that I was going to be a successful actress. Like, failure never occurred to me. It literally never occurred to me. The second I saw television, I knew I wanted to be in that little box. And I just did everything I could to pursue it. I was in opera at San Francisco Grand Opera House from the age of 8 to 12. I was in 10 operas.
Singing
and I used to model.
And everything, like the whole
singing, acting, talking,
incredible,
yelling. I was a bear in one of them. I worked with Placido Domingo and Luciano Pavarotti, and it was just extraordinary. So much fun. I figured my sister was in operas, and I thought, oh, so if I sing, I can be on stage, no problem. And I mean, I used to model. I was in like the JCPenney catalogs, and I talked my mom into moving to LA. I mean, that's kind of the short version. And
so you didn't come from an acting family. You were.
I love that question. I'm the only actress in my entire bloodline.
Okay, cool.
My daddy told me that.
That's an amazing achievement right there.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. No, my father was a parasitologist, researched tropical diseases, head of the joint medical program between UC Berkeley and UCSF. I come from brainiacs and PhDs and professors and scientists, and my son is a computer coder for a hedge fund company in Manhattan. I don't even know how to use a computer. I'm like, I can dress men and make them look fabulous, and I can act.
That's enough. That's enough for you right there.
Yeah. I just always knew that's what I was going to do.
So was it the move to LA that got you into like TV and movies?
Well, I'd done television when I was in San Francisco. I was my first commercial and my first audition was a Volvo commercial, and it was a national commercial that won a Clio, which is like the Oscar for commercials. And I was with a modeling agency as well as a commercial television agency, and the modeling agent took my mother and I to Los Angeles on generals to meet casting directors, and then went back to San Francisco. And one of them, named Tony Howard, was casting a show called Family with Seda Thompson and Christy McNichol. Remember that?
I do.
And Quinn Cummins was in it. She had just been nominated for an Oscar for The Goodbye Girl.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Right? And then Tony remembered me when they were casting her friend, and she called my modeling agent and said, we want Claudia to audition. So my mom and I, didn't think twice. We took an airplane to LA to audition, $13 each way on PSA Airlines.
Oh, the good old days.
Right. And I went in and did a cold reading, And there was like 20 little perfect Hollywood girls there with their moms. And I just kind of walked in, you know, not so Hollywood. And Tony came out and said, Barbara, Claudia, come into this room, please. And we went into this private room and she goes, so Claudia did a very good job. She got the part, but I still have to read all those girls. So I need you to wait here. And when I'm done with them, I'll come back and we'll just welcome to
that's awesome.
Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So that's
Yeah,
essentially your first big audition, then you're right in.
that was my, yeah, and my first role, except for
Wow.
the commercial. And then I went back to San Francisco and back to my, you know, private school and all that good stuff. And they called me to do another episode. And that was the hook. That's when I said,
Yeah.
Mom, you know, I'm already going to change schools after the 8th grade. We might as well change cities so I can be a proper actress.
Right.
And it took about 2 years of hankering her. And she finally said, you know what? Okay. And and God bless her because she believed in me and in my dreams. She uprooted her entire life. And we moved to LA knowing Quinn and my mom's best friend, Leona Mitchell, her then boyfriend, future husband, lived in Westwood. So we stayed in his apartment. He was out of town. And we found an apartment in Beverly Hills because the school was free. And we interviewed agents that summer. I didn't know that agents interview you. I thought the actor chooses the agent. So we interviewed like 4 or 5 agents and then they wined and dined us, which I thought was totally normal. And we chose our favorite one and started.
Oh, wow. Jeez, it's like, what a nice little storybook, you know,
I know.
transition for your
I
life.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many roles had you done prior to you know, landing the golden ticket role?
Ton.
Yeah.
I starred in 6 TV series.
Oh, wow.
About 8 pilots altogether, school break specials, movies of the week, a lot of episodics.
That was a huge thing too. I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but
Yeah,
movies of the week, that was a
Oh,
big deal back then. I mean, if you
absolutely.
got into that, that was huge.
So were school break specials and
Yeah.
after school specials.
Yes.
I was
absolutely.
in Babies Having Babies. That was Martin Sheen's directorial debut.
Yes, I remember that one. I think we had to watch it in health class. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Oh my gosh, I can
Yes.
totally see that.
Yeah.
And Herbie the Love Bug, starring Dean Jones.
Yes.
Off
Yep.
the Rack, starring Ed Asner and Eileen Brennan. I
Mm.
played her daughter. Fame, Trapper John, Simon.
Yes,
Simon.
Fame. Yes.
I did a ton of. Jennifer was one of my smallest roles in terms of size of a part.
Right.
But, Fast Times, based on the TV series.
Yes,
Fast
I
Times.
actually wanted to
I
talk
played
about
the Phoebe
that.
Cates part, Linda
Yes.
Barrett.
Which is there. You
And-
said you tested for that role in Gremlins, and
Isn't
you took
that
her part
weird?
in Fast Times. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
But
I
yeah.
didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And Fast Times
then
was a
Adventures
great
of Babysitting
sitcom.
was her, me, Valerie Bertinelli, and Elizabeth Shue. So
Yeah.
there was like 6 of us, and Sarah Jessica Parker. There was like 6 or 8 of us who basically got every part.
Right. Yeah.
Or screen
It's
tested.
true. Yeah. You think back
Yeah.
in the 80s and how many of them were starring in roles. Yeah. You guys were all over the place. But Fast
Yeah.
Times, I did want to talk about that because that was, despite it short-lived, was a great sitcom. I loved its spinoff of the movie, obviously.
Yep.
But it was it just, they had all those great characters. They brought them in from the movie, and they, you know, to be able to, they had a couple of the original actors, I believe.
Yeah,
Vincent
Ray
Schiavelli,
Walston, Mr. Hand,
Ray Walston, and then
Vincent
Vincent
Schiavelli,
Schiavelli.
the scientist. Yep.
Yes.
And it launched Patrick Dempsey,
yes.
who
Yes.
played Damone.
Yep.
And Courtney Thorne-Smith played Stacy.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
all
right.
these people became superstars.
Yep. And unfortunately, it has never, you don't see it anymore. I wish, you know, you get a DVD release or something, or streaming ability, but yeah, you have to dig on YouTube to find episodes.
I have a friend
Unfortunate.
named Ruben who he's so good at like sourcing pictures. He's a collector. He texts me these pictures of when we were on the cover of TV Guide, or when he just sent me like 4 pictures the other day of, because back then when you guest star on something or you star in something, there's a full page in the TV Guide of you.
Right. Yeah.
So
that was a
he's
big
got
deal.
copies of so many. I literally just saw some 3 days ago.
That's amazing.
I
Yeah,
know,
well,
it's
again,
incredible.
that's how we knew what was going to be on. That's how you kept up on TV, was
Absolutely.
TV Guide.
That's right.
It was,
Yeah.
That's right.
it's so crazy.
You really
think
are an
that-
80s kid.
Oh,
Yes,
for
yeah.
sure. I mean, that my dad has subscription to TV Guide. You know, that you pull it out and you highlighted what you were watching that week. You knew what was going to be hot.
I've
But,
got a
yeah.
box of TV guides in my office that my mother saved.
Oh, neat. So all the ones that
That
you
I'm
had
in.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
newspaper clippings from the day that Back to the Future was advertised, that it was going to be pre-screened on June 26th. And
Mhm.
she has Variety saying, you know, the reviews and how much money it was making. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a stack of things in
That's
my office.
fantastic.
Yeah, that
Now,
is-
when the movie, like you know, the movie came out, Back to the Future, when, like I was saying, it didn't hit right away. It took a little while. What did you think when it first came out? Were you like, this is going to be big, or this? I mean, how did you
Oh no,
feel?
I was just completely terrified.
Yeah.
I thought if I'm not good, it's going to be I'm not good 8 times a
Mm.
day.
Oh, right.
And because I'm very hard on myself. Excuse me, I was very hard on myself, not so much anymore. And sorry, call waiting. I sent it to voicemail.
Oh no, you're good.
It was my sister. I'm using an iPhone. I don't use a computer. I don't know how. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
holding my
okay.
phone.
That's awesome.
Perfect. It works.
It works fine, right?
Yeah, it
what
looks
was-
wonderful.
What was I talking about? I forgot.
Oh, the when
Oh, I
Back
know,
to the
I
Future
know.
first came out.
Yeah, I was scared because on television, if you don't do a brilliant job, it's over after an hour. And
Right.
you know, might run, but you know, if I watch things now, I look back and I go, hey, come on, why was I so hard on myself? I did well.
Mhm.
But at the time, you know how
Right.
it is. You're just like,
Certainly.
Well, not knowing, yeah, I
Scrutinize.
mean, yeah, and it did take, like, now you're in a movie, and with social media, you know the next day if
Right.
it's good or not. But back then, you didn't know that it was going to take the momentum. So you're like, are people watching it? What's going on? You know,
Right.
but and it
well,
was such
actually,
a
I wasn't.
strange
I didn't think
concept,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, my thing about Back to the Future was my girlfriends and I, we would call, well, I would call the movie theaters in Westwood and I'd say, hello, this is Claudia Wells. I'm in the movie at the Avco. Would it be possible for us to go in through the back door to your film? And I may have 5 girlfriends with me. So for me, it was getting in for free to movies.
Oh,
That
that's
really
cool.
was. That was my
That's
thing.
a great perk right there.
So it's pretty much the only perk I noticed because I wasn't really noticing the rest of it.
Right. So once the movie actually exploded, how did you take that when how was, you know, when
Again,
it finally
I didn't
became as big as
notice.
it was?
I was on, I went into filming Fast Times. So
Okay.
I was on set in a mall. When, you know, when you're filming, there is no such thing as an actual world outside of the film set. Literally,
Right.
there's no
Yeah.
news, no, I mean, we didn't have really phones back then, but my world was playing Linda Barrett. So
Mhm.
Back to the Future was no longer a part of my psyche.
Mm.
It became a part of my
So
psyche like
Yeah.
15 years later.
Okay.
It's
Okay. So
weird. I
right
know it
around,
sounds-
yes. So like around
Yeah.
2000, you were like, okay, this is bigger
No.
than.
No, more like 2010 maybe.
Okay.
Because I opened my store in 1995. No,
Okay.
1991. I opened my store in 1995. I had my son. So my world was dressing men and
Hmm.
being at my store, which is in the same location today as it was way back then. So my
Okay.
I've had lots of bunny trails in my life, and now Back to the Future is a part of every day of my life.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I mean, for the first 20 years, I don't think, maybe the first 15 years, I never told anyone I was even an actress.
Really?
I was Claudia Wells, the store owner who
Mm.
dressed men and had great deals and beautiful merchandise. Yeah, I never said anything.
Interesting.
I used to date a guy and he came into my store once and he goes, all right, I saw you on television last night. You never told me you were an actress. And I said, well, you never asked.
Yeah. Well, there you go. True.
What
Now.
sorry, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Don.
Well, because we kind of, I don't want to slide into it. We kind of start talking about, you know, your store. So what was the passion to kind of, with the acting and now dressing men as well? So what was the passion with starting a clothing store?
Okay, so it's a little twofold. I wanted to go back to acting. However, and I was 25, almost 25. And I didn't want to ever be desperate or too hungry for a role because I wanted to be able to be selective like I was when I was acting. If a part wasn't right, we turned it down. If for any reason it wasn't, Right. I never thought twice about turning something down, but I didn't want to be one of those desperate, I have to have a job people. And
Right.
I had a friend who had a woman's resale shop, Monsieur. I call him Monsieur. And he used to walk around his store and go, "Oh, I wish there was something like this for men." And I was like, "Monsieur, why don't we open one?" Because I think that I had lived in New York for a bit, and I love seeing a well-dressed man. There's a power to it and an esteem to it. And it never seemed fair to me that unless you have a lot of money, you cannot wear the finest fabrics or the finest cut suits. Women can get away with wearing a $20 dress and looking really cute. Throw on a pair of boots and you're fine. But men, if you're wearing an under, $1,000 suit, you're wearing cardboard. Really, it's just.
Yeah.
And so the man wearing the $5,000 suit is the most powerful man in the room because it feels like he's wearing pajamas. So I was thinking, okay, so we can open this store and then I'll go back to acting and I'll have a financial basis to take care of me.
Right.
So we opened the store and I did all of it. He had his women's shop around the corner. And I realized, oh my gosh, I have a gift for business. And oh my gosh, I have a gift for dressing men and making them gorgeous. And for me, because I was never trained on how to have a store, for me, it's like a dinner party and you're entering my home and I take care of you like that. I'm your hostess. I take care of you. I make sure you're well. And I have the most, Armani, Versace, Canali, Zegna, Prada, Gucci, Brunello Cucinelli, Loro Piana, the best of the best of the best. And I buy outright. So I own everything in my store and I have a knack for dressing men. So I literally tell them, all you have to do is walk in with your wallet. I will absolutely do the rest. And I love it. If you look on Yelp, like under Armani Wells, I don't pay them for advertising. So you'll read what people say about their experience, but it changes lives. It's very similar to acting or experiences with fans because you're literally affecting someone's life now and for the future. And I absolutely adore the experience. And men are so loyal and so wonderful. I said I don't use a computer, nor do I know how to. But men are so loyal. They keep track of me. I don't have to keep track of them. I'm open by appointment only through my website, armaniwells.com. And they get all my attention and I get theirs. And it's just this wonderful symbiotic. I'll get a text saying, "Tell me again how to pronounce that name. Which cufflink was I supposed to wear with this suit?" I just love taking care of people.
Yeah.
And I have jeans to tuxedos, head to toe, casual to formal, accessories, shoes, leather jackets. It's very, very current. Most of my stuff is brand new with tags on it. There's no wear on anything. So I'm basically, as opposed to a used clothing store or resale, I'm the second person to sell the items.
Oh, okay.
If someone spends, a fortune at a store in Beverly Hills or Europe or London, and then I buy it and I sell it for less than a fortune. So really, really fair prices. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, obviously your passion with your fans and your customers, you can definitely see that. Yeah, I could see why you would be a success. And I've always said, have a couple of passions because you never know if you're going to be able to do that one thing because it's not available. And that you were smart to think that. I'm like, and not have to rely on acting. If it came along, you could choose. You got to decide, and
That's
then
exactly right.
Which makes it so much more better. You're not like, oh no, I don't have a job. How am I going to pay my rent? But no,
I can't. And I didn't know I'd end up being a single mom and, and self-supporting through everything since I was 12. But I don't know. I'm really grateful and I'm still acting, but I'm not looking for it. I'm not hungry, desperate for it. I know it's still a passion of mine. So like I was sent to Prague to play the queen in a fairy tale movie in a castle.
Oh, cool.
So people just find me. And when they find me, if it's right, I'll do it. And if it's not, I won't.
And that makes it more fun.
I love it. For a long time, it was like, do I still love it? Am I still okay at it? And I realized, So my cat Goldie is playing with my new lights. I spent 2.5 hours this morning hanging lights on my curtain. And now my curtain's like, the rod's like this because the top part kind of fell. So it's like, and I sent a video to all my friends saying, I am very technical. Look at my prowess at construction.
Cats are wonderful at
Get a cat, yeah.
dismantling
Oh,
everything.
and mine's named Goldie, not after the mayor. He's just named
Oh.
Goldie because he's gold.
Very
Anyway,
good.
yeah, I'm really grateful. And I write a lot of poetry. I've got like
Oh, nice.
600 poems in the notes in my phone.
Have you
So
published
I,
any?
no, not yet. I don't
Mm.
quite know how.
Mm.
I just keep
I mean,
writing them.
there are avenues because I publish, but I do self-publishing and I use Amazon, their Kindle
You know,
Create.
people have said that.
Works
I need to
great.
actually just do it instead of, because I mean, there's no way God has me writing over 600 poems to be sitting and entertaining the notes in my phone. I mean, Siri
Right.
might be enjoying them quite a lot, but it might be nice for other people also.
Right. Yeah, you could share them with everybody. It's
I mean,
a
more
nice way
than she
because
shares it with Alexa, I'm sure, but that's not the same.
yeah, and I mean, even self-publishing, at least you control how you put it out, and you can put it the way you want to do it, and you know, it's gratifying. I know when I put something out, even if it's, you know, I get 1 or 2 people to read it, I'm happy it's just out. And
Well,
that's
you
all
know
it
what?
is.
You're definitely confirmation from God, because I've been hearing a lot about that for quite a long time. I just need to, as my father would say, pick myself up by my bootstraps and do it.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be fantastic to be able to read those and see.
Yeah.
those.
I think you would find another level of fans that would find you just for your poetry at that point, because I think there's, if you seem to have like this way of just diversifying yourself to really connect with so many people out there. So that would be another method of doing so.
Thank you. It's awfully nice.
So now that you know you've gotten back into acting a little bit here and there, when did you start back in? After your
A while ago, someone came up to me and wanted me to star in his movie. I will say it was an amazing role and really tough and strong and wonderful and sort of futuristic. But I explode after 12 pages. So I didn't read the rest of the script. I do not recommend doing that. It wasn't exactly the movie I anticipated it would be, or that he told me it would be, but I loved my part in it. So I actually did 2 of his movies, and I learned my lesson. Read the rest of a script.
Which film was that?
They were both like sci-fi films, and I had very strong, wonderful characters. They weren't they were a little edgier than I anticipated.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed my parts.
That's cool. Now,
Yeah.
being in taking on some of these newer roles, how does it feel different from when you first started? Now that you're a little more grounded, you have more of a, you know, foundation
That's a really
beneath
good
you.
question. Well, my agent used to always say to me, Claudia, you need to get an edge. You don't have an edge. Even though I did some very edgy roles that were completely different than who I was as a person. And I've lived a very lot of life since then. So now, during some of my life experiences, like, I got an edge now. So there's more of me and more life experience to draw on. So my sense is, if I really do go back to acting in a big way, I'll be a much fuller actress than I've ever been. Like, I'll surprise people, which would be so much.
Oh, that's the fun thing. Yeah, when you can surprise them, like they don't expect it, and you come in and like, wow, yeah.
Oh, I can promise that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we can't wait to see it. So yeah.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you're
you know, I get offers and things, and people talk about it, and I never know which one's going to actually. I never count on anything until I've signed on the dotted line.
Yep.
So there's different things, lots of different things actually. So I'll just wait and see what God does and has in store for me.
Certainly. Hopefully,
lots
you know,
and lots of travel coming up.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's fun. Now, when have you shot any movies like how far out have you know, you said Prague, but how any other exotic places that you've been able to travel?
Well, I do Comic-Cons all over the world. I was in the Netherlands a few weeks ago, Texas,
Oh, neat.
Ontario, California last weekend. Friday, I go to Michigan. I'll be going to the Bedford Film Festival
Mhm.
in July. I'm going to Wales for the Wales Comic-Con
Oh,
in
wonderful.
August. I just got invited to the Pennsylvania, the PA HorrorCon in September. And
Mhm.
then, of course, I'm dressing men in between.
Well, yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, with all that, it's funny because I remember, you know, going to cons. We would go to cons in the 90s and things like that. They were pretty bare bones. You know, you would go. There would be one big guest there that you would go to, and we've discussed this on many occasions. We went
Yeah.
specifically to meet this one guest. It didn't live up to the expectations we were hoping for, but the other guest that was there was kind of a minor guest, was absolutely wonderful. And we've developed a friendship with that person. She's been
Oh,
on our
that's
show several
nice.
times, and it was just and we've told her many times that was one of those moments that kind of defines how I see conventions at this point. It's that connection you have with certain guests that you have and that you meet at them. And it's you know, there's no ego, there's no you know, you may have some expectations, but they almost melt away the minute you interact with that person. And
That's right.
you're seeing that so much more nowadays, with people like you and you know, several other guests that come. You know,
Oh, yeah.
they're there to meet people. They're there to, you know, interact with those fans. They're there
Yes,
to just sort of give them
absolutely.
something to take from there as well, which is
Well, you
wonderful.
have to. I mean, my goodness, I did a show in New Jersey, and this is just one of many examples. And this guy, after I signed, he goes, "And now my poster is complete." And I said, "Oh, good." He said
Oh,
he flew in from Miami that morning,
Mm.
got my autograph, and was heading right back to the airport to fly home. That was the reason he flew from Miami.
Wow.
I mean, people go to a
That's
lot of
gotta feel
expense.
great.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Or someone will take off from work and drive, 3 days.
Yeah.
Or I had one guy, he was so funny. He called in sick to be able to come. And I did a video for his boss. And I
Yeah.
was like, if you find out that he was here, you just have to understand that I'm Claudia Wells, Jennifer Parker from Back to the Future. And I'm asking you, please do not fire this boy.
This is important.
Here's a sick note
I've
from
had
Claudia.
people,
Yep.
right? I've signed people a leg and an arm, a neck, a shoulder, and they get it tattooed
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
5 times.
Mm.
It's just it's an amazing, interesting, giggly experience. We have so many giggles, so many hugs, so much fun.
Yeah.
The other guests become great friends, and it's just, I mean, it's just a lot of laughs and a lot of
Yeah.
camaraderie. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
and
fantastic.
that same vibe Kyle was saying, you hit it on the head when we met her. We weren't expecting to meet her. It was wonderful. We had such a connect, but I'm like, we were like fans, and we're like, we ran into some folks that were kind of big stars, and we're like, oh, we can't wait to see them. And we walked away saying, you know what? Who would you be if we weren't your fans? I'm like, if you treated every one of your fans, you wouldn't be who you are today. I'm
Mhm.
like,
Right.
you know, if there weren't fans, there wouldn't be, you know, the movie wouldn't have been a success. And then you may not have worked ever again. And then you'd be working at the car wash or someplace else. I'm like,
Right.
can you treat us like, I mean, we were just, 2 people, but we were so disappointed, and we were so
Mhm.
glad that she was there. And you
Mhm.
have that same vibe of just treating fans like they're the people that, love
Yeah.
the same thing you love, are a part of something. Everyone has a story to tell, and just,
Mhm.
that experience. And that's what we were looking for. And we were fortunate enough to get it.
Yes.
Because we were kind of
100%.
a little disappointed, and we've been able to meet some folks that have really just turned that around, that made it,
Mhm.
yeah, these are.
Yeah.
Don, I am so happy you said that. I say that to people all the time. How can you have an attitude and not be entirely grateful?
Mm.
Because if it weren't for these people who are kind and love you and, follow you and, are interested in who you are and what your life is because of your acting, none of us would be anywhere.
Yeah.
They're not going to fly us to Australia and
Right.
bust us,
Yeah. Which
have
is
us do
awesome.
all of that if people hadn't, been fans.
Mhm.
And so how can you not be grateful to each and
Mhm.
every fan? It's like being grateful to your sister or your best friend. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a thing.
Yep.
It's a gratitude thing.
Yeah.
I've never
It
had
has
no one,
to be.
yeah, and no one's ever asked for our autographs, and they never will, and that's okay. But I can imagine too, but being at conventions and these Comic Cons, that after a while your hands gonna get tired. It's just like but I just really appreciate that when there is that connect, and also I think this is a great with this podcast is being able to share this kind of experience. Now when people go back, and even especially now us, very especially when we're watching these movies and watching these old shows and we see you, it's like we got a chance to chat with her and talk to her, and what a wonderful person. And it makes that experience to go back and now watch Back to the Future and Simon and Simon episodes, and I'm gonna go watch it again because
The Simon and Simon's called
up.
Slither, by the way. It's
Oh,
one of my favorite
fantastic.
parts I ever had.
Oh, neat.
It's such a great, being able to share that with more, our friends that are going to be watching and bringing that connect to them of, talking to the wonderful Claudia Wells. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. We truly
Oh, let me
enjoyed
tell you
it.
something. Oh, me too. I have to tell you in my handy dandy notes. Okay, you can get tickets at the bedfordfilmfestival.com or Eventbrite, and then the double feature and screening and Jaws and all that good stuff. Wait, that wasn't what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you that, I know. The festival and the signings are going to be at the Bauer Center for the Arts. So go to bowercenter.org because it's for charity. And there's going to be other events around the festival. And if you want to have any particular information on where my events are, including the Bedford Film Festival, all you have to do is go to claudiawells.com. And the first thing you see is like my event schedule.
Oh, excellent. Very good. And ArmaniWells.com is
how you get into my store. You can schedule an appointment through there. And THE Claudia Wells. So the Claudia Wells on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's me. I don't use the personal pages ever. And if you see anything that doesn't have a blue check, it's not me.
Okay. Good to know.
I'm on TikTok now, thanks to my 22-year-old media guy, Aaron, who's just graduated from college. So that's Claudia Wells Official. And my YouTube station is Claudia Wells.
Wow.
Very good. Excellent.
So that without not using the
so many ways to connect you.
Many ways to connect me. And I don't check any of my messages on social media sites ever, but I do check my messages on both .coms.
Oh, excellent. Perfect.
And I read every comment that people write on all of my social media ones. Like I literally sit there and read them. And if people are icky, they get deleted.
So please be kind.
No, everyone's kind. It's very, very rare ever for someone to be icky.
Well, honestly, you're such a delight. I don't know how anyone could be unkind to you. This has been wonderful. We've truly enjoyed it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Kyle.
Thank you.
And thank you, John.
Well, we're very honored to have you on tonight, and I wish we were closer to Michigan or closer to North Carolina. We're in central New York right now, but one of these days we're going to be able to. We're going to be able to come to see you in person, which we want.
Yes, I'm hoping. Hopefully, we'll get you nearby soon, and we can.
I would love that, and thank you to Laura Willoughby.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Laura. And thank you again, Bedford Film Festival coming up. July 1st is the screening and the meet and greet. So please check that out, bedfordfilmfestival.com, as well as Eventbrite to get your tickets. And please visit Claudia Wells, theclaudiawells.com, correct?
ClaudiaWells.com and
ClaudiaWells.com.
Claudia Wells on the social media
On the
sites.
social media. Gotcha.
Yeah,
excellent.
And God bless you both.
Thanks so much.
Thank you also.
Good travels. We'll hopefully get to speak with you again soon.
Excellent. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you too.